when you go into the court system, they will be forced to treat it as right and wrong for you.
Sure.
Right? So if they treat it as marriage and relationships as right and wrong, is where we go wrong. When you go into the court system, they will be forced to treat it as right and wrong for you.
Sure.
Right? So if they treat it as right and wrong, then it becomes, oh, you got me, I need to get you back, right? So sometimes maybe the court really got him, right? But then he's using other ways by just being evil or mean to you. Even his face when he sees you, and that affects your soul. You can't pretend like that doesn't affect. Even if you've taken him to court and you got all the money you want, or he actually, like I was looking at on the Shade Room, this guy, the future, telling the kid like your mama is a B. Sent a text to his own child.
Okay, so if you have future as a husband, for example, that's a typical example.
Listen, I don't want to stretch future, but let me help you where you're going with that. Okay. When you have a future who is the mentor of many of these young men, okay? I'm so sad, right? But he's having children everywhere, right? He just got taken to court. He has resentment in his head and he's pissed off that somebody just extracted 30 grand for doing nothing. In his head, he thinks for doing nothing, right? In his head, that's how he feels, right? Because again, for me, if I had a baby out of wedlock, right, and somebody took me to court and that's what they decided to do, it's not what they did, it's how I reacted to that makes all the difference.
They probably took you to court because you were not showing up.
The only thing I have to take responsibility for is how I reacted to that. I don't worry about if they made me do it. That's what women do. I understand why women do that. I get it, okay? It's the nature of a woman. But
no. And there's a lot of women that have been raising kids on their
No,
own.
you're missing the point.
If
you're raising a kid on your
that the men just went out.
If you're raising a kid on your own, right? If you're raising a kid on your own.
And they never took them to court.
All right. Can I say something?
Please do.
If you're raising a kid on your own, it is not your fault. However, pointing fingers is not going to help you either. Okay? How you react to that situation is the holy grail. Okay? If you react to it as it is somebody else's fault that made me do this, nothing good is going to come out of it. I promise you, I guarantee you. Now, you could say it may make you feel good in the short term. Yeah, he's just a deadbeat. Yeah, he's just narcissist. You can call names if you want, right? It make you feel good. In the long run, the actual solution in the long run will run, right? It's what we need to be talking about. If you don't talk about that, it is suffering upon suffering upon suffering. The majority of that suffering is emotional in nature. And guess what? You can collect all the child support you want for your child. Your child is still going to suffer too. So we need to have more conversations about this kind of stuff, right? We could have stopped at 10 minutes by saying take it to court.
I think it's deeper than what it is on the surface.
No, we could have stopped at 5 minutes and said just take them to court.
No, we couldn't have stopped that.
Would that have been a solution? A solution?
I don't want to bash people who take.
That's not bashing. Telling them what it is. It's not like, telling them the reality of what it is. It's not bashing. Like tell them what it is in reality.
I already said the reality before. What I'm trying to say is that people have different scenarios, and there are reasons why people go to the court. Okay. Especially women. Okay. And I hate to use the word first, but I feel like it's their last resort. I feel like they've tried everything.
Listen.
We can only encourage them to do more, try something different.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you keep saying that when I already told you that you can actually concurrently work on a court if it gets to that, if it becomes like you're hungry, if last resort I should call it, and you can still seek therapy or counseling or coaching.
You can do
that. Simultaneously.
I agree with
so why you keep saying that? I want to dig into why you keep saying
because because you're saying that women feel like they are forced, that they use that language.
They do.
And I'm trying to explain the reason why it feels like the reason why they say that is not because they haven't tried everything.
No, the reason why they say that is because everybody's action can be claimed to be a reaction. And that's okay.
So you just think that someone just run to court right away to take somebody
No. I just said,
they get offended.
No, I just noticed that you didn't listen to what I said.
I heard you.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
Exactly. Everybody's action
is a reaction.
No, maybe not, but can be claimed to be a reaction. But everybody must be responsible for their reactions because it is your action. I understand that it is not necessarily in the nature of a woman to do that.
That's all I'm trying to say. That women are not running around taking men to court anyhow.
Well, I hate to say this like this. It almost seems like I'm bashing the man right now. A lot of men are in their feminine. In other words, they can play that game with you too. Okay, they'll play tit for tat. They'll get petty, right? They argue with you. When you see a man actively arguing with you, I'm not talking about debate. I'm not talking about we turn on the camera and we're talking with my wife, right? I'm talking about argument as in like any moment we may slap each other and we're cursing at each other, calling each other names, right? Why is it that men are like back in the days? A man will not do that with you. At worst, he will grab his key and just go and play games somewhere or something, right?
A normal man.
Well, it's men from a different generation. It's just different, right? I would at some point say that too. Like a man will do that, right? But the truth is that I've seen enough that I know 99.99% of these men are petty. They will play that game with you.
Because I don't know, honestly, I know of them online, but in real life, I really don't know men like that.
You don't know what's going. See, I know, like for example, when we talk about the red pill community, I thought it was just young boys, but there are actually men who are going through sex-like situation, right? And they end up in the red pill because they're looking for ways to understand why a woman would never take responsibility for nothing. It's always their fault, and the system actually works in their favor, right? On an average, of course.
I would tell them to go read the Bible. Because in the Bible it doesn't say hold a woman accountably. It says love your wife, man. It didn't say women to submit to the man.
But these are the conversations, right? But these are the conversations we can
love
have.
your wife. This is the woman you've chosen. Mm-hmm. You are responsible for that.
Okay.
For choosing that type
That's
of
the conversations
so
we're going
you
to
need
have.
To love her.
But I want you to understand that these things are deeply rooted.
That's what I'm saying. It's deeper than.
So if it's deeply rooted, when I tell a man, when I tell a young man, I said, if a man that knows a woman does not argue with a woman, he pushes back.
You're like, what do you mean?
Right? He's like, what do you mean? What about a simple debate with my woman? He doesn't get it. It's deep. He doesn't understand what I'm talking about until it's in that space and he's tried that and he realizes that, well, she's the natural woman. You can't beat her at the game of not taking what's the word? Accountability. Mm-hmm. She's supposed to be that way because, first of all, anything you give to her, she will multiply. So she does that naturally without thinking it, right? So when you start to talk to her about, oh, you two, you should do this there, she's like, she can't even put it into words why she doesn't understand that you're mad right now, right? She can't put it into words, but she knows that something is off. She doesn't feel loved. She doesn't feel taken care of. She doesn't feel safe and secure, right? So, and then you're arguing in logic, quote unquote, and then you're just going to pretend like feelings are not part of the logic, right? So it's really, it's a conversation that we have to keep having until some people really start to like, okay, maybe I missed something there. Okay, I'm saying logic, but then there's a big variable. 90% of the variable is other people's feelings and learning how to manage that, starting with managing my feelings, like all of that.
We need more mentorship for men,
right?
By the way,
so it's not like in the meanwhile, before we punish this kid.